Today, I'm taking you with me to my favorite restaurant at Disney World. There are so many great places to eat around the Walt Disney World Resort, and having tried every single restaurant, there's one at the very top of my list. Narcoossee'S. Located at the Grand Floridian, this restaurant offers incredible views, some of the best cocktails, and even better food. I'm telling you, if there's one restaurant you can't miss, it's this one. Let's go dine at Narcoossee'S. Every year, right around this time, I head back to Narcoossee'S to celebrate my birthday, and this year is no different. Now, of course, I've dined here many times in between the last time I made a video of my experience, and I've even discovered some new favorite menu items. But as I always say, Narcoossee'S is the perfect restaurant to splurge at. Whether you're celebrating a special occasion or just want an insanely delicious meal, this is the place for you. Well, we're all checked in for our reservation, and today our reservation is for a little bit earlier than I typically prefer. Usually I like to come to Narcoossee'S for a firework view from your table. I always say this might be a hot take, but I do think Narcoossee'S has the best fireworks view out of any restaurant on property, better than California Grill across the way. I know, a hot take, but you could watch the fireworks right from your table, or you could come right out here on the patio and have a beautiful view, and they'll even serve you drinks and stuff out here. It is a very cool experience to come here for fireworks dining. However, it's 5 o'clock. The restaurant's just opening, and I don't think the fireworks are till 9 o'clock tonight, so we might be missing them. But just know I always recommend request or make a reservation for right around the fireworks time so you could watch from here as well. That is, if there's a reservation available, because I have found it's so hard to get a reservation here at Narcoossee'S these days. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like people have finally realized how great of a restaurant this is, because I can almost never find a reservation here, and I usually have really good luck and can get a reservation at any restaurant at whatever time. But Narcoossee'S, man, it's been giving me some issues. Even though we're not here for fireworks, we of course had to request a table right by the window. This works out perfectly when you have a 5 o'clock reservation when the restaurant is just opening, because there's no one else seated here. But I always recommend you request a table by the water so you get amazing views of the Contemporary, of the castle, of Space Mountain, of the boats going by, of the train station. You could see like everything right from your table, and it's a whole different experience. You guys know I love a table with a view, and I don't know how this view here could be beat. And as soon as I was seated, I noticed two things that were different. I was literally here 3 weeks ago, maybe. They got new cups, so we no longer have the classic Disney cups, the like shorter ones with the circles around the outside. We have new water cups here, so we're getting fancy. And then right over here, I noticed a brand new crisp menu. So we're gonna take a look at what's inside. Right inside, I believe this is going to be our beverage menu here. We've got some wine. We're flipping right to the back for the specialty cocktails here, because they have some of my favorite specialty cocktails on property. One of them is the Lime Pie Martini. I absolutely love that. It's probably the best Lime Pie Martini I've had outside of Key West. And I also love the white sangria. A lot of times around Disney, places just use that box of sangria and they call it like sangria when it's just that really bad box. That is not the case here. It comes with Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc, cucumber, mint, agave, strawberry. It is such a good white sangria. I absolutely love it. And of course, I also have an Espresso Martini that is very popular. So we've got to make some decisions on a nice beverage to start with. All right, the drinks have arrived to the table. They are looking quite excellent, I must add. Mom, what did you end up going with?
I ordered the Lime Pie Martini.
This has Tito's handmade vodka, Midori melon liqueur, vanilla cream, and cold pressed lime juice with a toasted meringue for $17.50. And I am trying her drink first. Sorry, not sorry. So good. I do not know how you can possibly make a key lime pie martini better than that. Actually, maybe if they added some type of graham cracker rim. That is the only thing that drink is missing there. Nice little graham cracker garnish. However, I do love that they have the toasted meringue on top. I think that's a really fun addition. And the drink, the flavor of the drink in general is phenomenal. It is the perfect balance of creaminess with liminess. Like, it's not too overly citrusy, coffee. The balance with the cream is truly perfect. It's strong, it's refreshing, but it's an easy sipper. And most people would consider this a dessert drink. I think it's an anytime drink because it is just that good. It is probably my favorite drink on this menu. Potentially a top 3, top 5 drink in all of Disney World, if I'm being honest. I love it.
It's like tart, it's limey, it's creamy, it's like so good.
This is your favorite drink on property too, right? Or one of them?
It is my favorite drink on property.
And although that key lime pie martini is probably my favorite drink here at Narcoossee'S, we had to do it big. I don't think I've ever reviewed the Espresso Martini on this channel, so today is the day. This is the salted mascarpone Espresso Martini. It has Grey Goose vodka, Kahlua, Joffrey's coffee, Italian espresso, and a cane sugar mascarpone liqueur foam for $18.50. This drink here was introduced maybe a little over a year ago onto the menu here at Narcoossee'S, and it has quickly shot up as a fan favorite espresso martini. I have actually only had this once, and I remember liking it, but I wasn't as blown away as I thought I would be, to be honest. And I know a lot of the novelty of this drink here is that mascarpone cream on top, and not mentioned, it also comes with a little Parmesan crisp in your espresso martini. Sounds super weird, but it actually works. It really, really works, the Parmesan with the espresso. But it's been a while since I have had this, so I'm very excited to try it again. Cheers, Mom.
Cheers.
Spilling it. I don't know why I waited so long to have this again, because it is a lot better than I remember it being. I think what's really making this taste so good for me is, of course, the cream on top, but it also tastes like they've added a little sprinkling of salt. So it just all kind of, it really works. Kind of like when you add salt on top of a Gideon's cookie, on top of a Gideon's chocolate chip cookie. It kind of just all works together so well. The espresso martini itself is so well balanced, very dark and strong, has a deep coffee flavor, which I enjoy. And you get that creaminess from the mascarpone on top. Salty goodness. I don't know if it's just made better this time around or what, but it is really hitting. I cannot stop drinking this. I think my mom wants to try some of the foam.
Just the foam.
But I keep drinking it, so I'm not even letting her have it. You can take some now.
I just want the foam. Ooh. Salty, and it has an almond flavor.
You taste almond in it?
I totally taste almond. Yes.
You know what would also be good? That cream on literally any drink, even on the key lime pie martini.
No, there's almond. Maybe the almond is from the coffee. I don't know.
Could be, but whatever it is, it's delicious. Well, we've had our beverages now. It is time to get to the bread. And the bread service here at Narcoossee'S, I feel like, is one of the best on property. It's a warm, crisp, fresh-baked loaf of sourdough with a butter that has red Hawaiian sea salt, I believe he said. There is a ton of salt on this butter, actually. It is like freshly whipped deliciousness. And this bread, literally fresh out of the oven, and you can get as much of it as you want, but you never want to fill up because the rest of the food is too good. But we're gonna dive into this now. Go ahead, Mom, dive into this bread. We're gonna give them a little bread ASMR.
Oh, it's weird. But it was sliced. It's like a hunk of bread.
Yeah, this bread has literally been on our table for what, 10 minutes, and it's still nice and toasty. Nice and toasty, nice and crusty. Man, just look at that. I am someone who really appreciates a good bread service. It's always one of the first things you eat for the meal, so it should be really good. And like I said, this is some of the best bread you are going to find on property. It is so pillowy soft on the inside, and you could just taste the freshness. You could taste how fresh this bread is. The crisp outside is perfect. It's nice and chewy, and when you pair it with that butter, give me that butter back. Oh my gosh, it's so soft, the butter. Unreal. But as we're enjoying our bread here, I wanted to start taking a look over the food menu, starting with the starters. I'm just gonna kind of point out some highlights for me. The calamari is really good. I also really love the brisket and ricotta tortelloni, but my favorite starter has got to be the shrimp and grits. I'm obsessed recently, guys. But moving on down to the soups and salads, the lobster bisque is always super delicious. For entrees, my favorite entree probably on all of Disney property is the surf and turf. However, look at that price, guys, $89. It's not something I get all the time. I also love the Gulf shrimp bucatini. I've heard great things about the redfish, and then I've also heard really great things about the scallop dish down here, so I'm thinking of trying that. I've also got some enhancements and sides. Wow, this menu is huge, guys. But as for the sides, those loaded mashed are pretty delicious. And at this point, I have pretty much worked my way through this entire menu, and I've only found one thing that I don't really enjoy, and that is the ocean-inspired charcuterie board. It just was very lackluster. It sounds really interesting because it has a lobster sausage, ahi tuna pastrami, octopus capicola, and crab stuffed cherry peppers. I was just not really impressed, but everything else on this menu is really, really solid. Like I said, my favorite appetizer on all of Disney property right now, what I have been obsessed with, is the shrimp and grits. And then we've got the entrees, that surf and turf. Absolutely killer, guys. And I know I get a lot of questions every time I come here because you're able to just get the filet without the lobster if you still wanted to enjoy the turf part of the surf and turf, but you wanted to maybe save a little bit of money, or you don't like lobster, or you just want to have steak. You know, you can just get a filet mignon served the way they do the strip steak, and that is going to be the same price as the strip steak, so $62. I always mean to ask how much it is. I always forget until today, but I just wanted to let you guys know. And for appetizers today, we decided to get my two favorite appetizers on this menu. We're going to be sharing the shrimp and grits as well as the brisket and ricotta tortelloni. Sometimes I'll even just order these two appetizers for my entree because that's just how much I enjoy them. And while we've got both of our appetizers here, I want to start with my favorite, my number one app, the shrimp and grits. These have local Gulf shrimp, barbecue sauce, low country grits, applewood smoked bacon, and chow chow for $19. And before we get into this appetizer here, I must say, I'm not necessarily a shrimp and grits person. There's not really anywhere else that I go on property or just anywhere and I'm ordering shrimp and grits. This is an exception because it is just that good. We've got, I believe, 4 shrimp. 1, 2, 3, oh no, 5. There's 5 shrimp here, and they're on the smaller side, but do you guys see all of the flavor that the shrimp is going to deliver? You can just tell by the color of it. All of the seasoning on there, and then the grill marks. How good does just the shrimp on its own look? But we're not stopping at the shrimp. We're also gonna load a ton of those grits on this bite here. I feel like it's gonna spill. Woo! I lost the grits. I must reapply. There we go. The shrimp are cooked to perfection. I hate overcooked seafood. That's not the case here. And like I said, the shrimp on their own deliver enough flavor, and then you add that barbecue sauce on top. It's like a creamy, sweet, spicy barbecue sauce. Like, this is a homemade barbecue sauce. It's not some bottle of Ken's or whatever they use these days, Sweet Baby Ray's. No, this is like a homemade barbecue sauce. And honestly, you could put the sauce on anything and it would be delicious. But then when you mix in the freshness from the chow chow on top and the onions and the peppers and the creamy grits, man, the absolute perfect bite. I'm at the point where I cannot come to Narcoossee'S and not get this dish here. But now for the brisket and ricotta tortelloni. This has parsnip, brown butter, and sultana raisins for $17. We've got 3 of the tortelloni here, and you can probably see they're not really looking much like tortelloni, I guess. They look more like a wonton, and that wrapper is just so fresh and it just melts in your mouth. You've got the brisket filling on the inside of this little tortelloni here. The meat just like melts in your mouth. The wrapper is so soft, and when you combine it with that meat, it literally just melts in your mouth. You get those brown butter hints, and then the sweet parsnip puree underneath pairs so well with everything. I think the thickness of the pasta that they're using works really well with this dish as well. It's like the perfect thickness here, cooked to absolute perfection, man. It doesn't get much better than this. I am just in heaven right now. And when I'm coming out to eat and I'm not filming a video, I don't always order an appetizer. This is a place where even if you don't usually order appetizers, you have to order an appetizer here because they are just so good. The brisket ricotta tortelloni here was my mom's selection, and she said she's never had it before, and I was like, last time we were here, we literally got this. So this is gonna be a fresh review because she thinks she's never had it before, but she actually has. Go ahead, dig in there.
What is this? Okay, cheese?
That's the ricotta. There's no ricotta inside. It's actually just like on top.
Yeah, that's really good. It reminds me of the brisket from California Grill. Didn't they have?
I was literally gonna say that.
Yeah. What was that there? Same thing. I feel like it was like a wonton with like brisket or something in it. Same thing there, but they called it a wonton. But these look like a wonton to me. They're calling it tortellini here?
Tortelloni.
Oh, tortelloni.
It's parsnip on the bottom there. Parsnip.
Oh.
Yeah, and you're liking it. Look at that. But my mom was thinking of the short rib wontons over at California Grill, and it's funny because I was actually thinking that exact same thing. And I just looked up the California Grill menu.
They don't have them anymore.
They're not on the menu anymore.
Yeah, they're not. I knew that because I watched some videos.
I wonder if you could still get them like at the lounge, because they have a bar there where you can order food as well, a la carte, so you don't have to get the full like prefix menu. I wonder if you could still get them at the bar. Oh my God, I hope so, because those were so delicious. That would be a massive loss if you can't. They changed the goat cheese ravioli over there, and there's no short rib wontons. Why even go to California Grill now? I always preferred Narcoossee'S anyway, and while we're talking of the lounge at California Grill, we talked about earlier how it's so hard to find a reservation here these days. I did want to let you know that they also have a bar here at Narcoossee'S that you could almost always find a seat at, because I feel like people don't really realize that there's just a walk-up bar. You could get drinks to go, or you could sit in one of the seats if they're available, and you could order the entire menu of food and drinks there and still enjoy Narcoossee'S. That's if you can't get a reservation, of course, or if you just wanted to keep things like short and quick on your Magic Kingdom day or something. This is a great place to come for a great meal, whether you're sitting at a table or over at the bar there. But we've enjoyed our appetizers and everything. We're on to our entrees. Mom, what did you get here?
Well, you said I could order what I want, and I said, well, what I want and what is affordable are two different things. So,
because I told her this dinner was on me here, and she was trying to get the surf and turf on me, and I was like, are you insane? An $89 meal?
But I did get this, well, I think I'm subbing the filet for the strip steak. Is that what he was saying you can do here?
Yeah, you got the filet. And as tempted as I am to get the surf and turf myself, I decided to get a dish that I have actually never had before, that I have had recommended to me so many times, in particular by my good friend Dom, who he knows his way around a Disney restaurant as well, and he says the scallop dish here is unreal. So that's actually what I decided to go with this evening. These are the plancha, seared scallops, and Parisian gnocchi. It has trumpet mushrooms, asparagus, tasso ham, and a truffled Meyer lemon cream for $57. Well, we're gonna cut into our scallops here. Actually, before we do, I wanna try this gnocchi. It's called a Parisian gnocchi, and the cream sauce is not as thick as I would have expected. It's a very light cream sauce there, but it looks delicious. I know it says lemon sauce, but I don't know if I was expecting that much lemon flavor. It's very lemony. The gnocchi themselves, though, are delicious. They're really nice and pillowy soft with a super light sear on the outside, and they just soak up all of that sauce. I'm not sure how big of a fan of the sauce I am. However, I really love the gnocchi. I think the true test will be when I get it with a piece of the scallop here. That'll be the true test. Okay, we'll dunk the scallop in the sauce now. Similar to all the seafood here. The scallop is cooked perfectly. Again, I love the crust on the outside of that scallop. And I feel like the sauce pairs better with the scallop than it does the pasta. I feel like the scallop maybe mellows out the citrus and the lemon flavor from the sauce just a little bit more there. We'll try it all together. I enjoy scallops a lot, and whenever I see scallops on a menu, I always enjoy going for them. And I feel like Disney World does scallops very well. They actually used to have the best scallop dish of all time, in my opinion, upstairs at Narcoossee'S in the upstairs at Citrico's in the Grand Floridian. The scallops over risotto up there. My mom is nodding her head. That was like it was actually probably my former favorite entree at Disney World, which has now been replaced by the surf and turf here. And that scallop dish was just unbelievable. This one here is really good. However, I did expect it to be a little bit better. Like, if you're in the mood for scallops, go for this. However, I think the shrimp pasta is a little bit better. And if I was wanting to get a seafood dish on the menu, I would probably go for the shrimp pasta before I went for this again. All right, Mom's going for the scallop here.
It's like really lemony. I honestly like the scallop better when I didn't dip it in the lemon. It's a good scallop.
And this is coming from two people who love lemon. Like, I like overly lemony things. I like overly lemony seafood, desserts, you name it, with lemon, I love it. And this is just a little bit too much for me. And since we're talking about the scallops risotto that they used to have at Citrico's, I did decide to pair my scallops with an additional side this time around, the wild mushroom risotto. This has fontina and espelette pepper for an additional $12.50. And this is another thing that came highly recommended. My good friend Josie, she loves this mushroom risotto here. And they have mushroom risotto over in Canada with the filet, and over for the Food and Wine Festival, they bring it out to the festival booth, and that I feel is like the gold standard for mushroom risotto. I don't know, that one is absolutely incredible. So I can't wait to see how this one here kind of stacks up. We'll get a little bite. It looks super creamy. Oh. Okay. I see the hype. It tastes very similar to the one over in Canada. However, this is a way bigger portion. It's so truffly, and that umami mushroom flavor is incredible. I also get a good like caramelized onion flavor coming through, and as suspected, this is just creamy, dreamy goodness. I mean, I just cannot get enough of this here. I am so happy that I finally tried this out. I don't know how it took me so long, because I really love risotto, and it just has the perfect truffly kind of hint. It is quite salty, but this is a great side to add on to your meal. And I know my friend Josie likes to just get a side of risotto and then an enhancement of scallops on the side, and she kind of makes that her own meal. So shout out to Josie. I think her name is Josie Maida on social media. She gave me that idea, and honestly, if you guys are wanting to try this risotto but wanting to maybe have some protein as well, that is a good option for you. Just add one of the enhancements. I think you could get the scallops on the side as an enhancement for $21, and then just make your own scallop risotto. You could get the $21 scallops and then add the $12.50 risotto. Mom, you should actually do that next time, maybe.
I'm mad that I didn't do that.
You should. That sounds like a great meal. So shout out to Josie for that idea. But we have tried my entree. We tried my side. Now we're on to my mom's entree, and she decided to get the filet. This is served with a potato mash and roasted rainbow veggies with a red wine demi-glace for $62. Yeah, this is definitely, I mean, literally, I don't even think I rocked my knife back and forth. I just pushed down on the steak and it just like fell apart. That is how tender this steak always is. And like you said, it has a crust on the outside this time around, which is fine with me. It looks really good, but I've just never seen that before. So I'm excited to see. Maybe they changed it up a little bit. I mean, it is seasoned to perfection, and it literally melts. It just melts in your mouth. And this is not even a steakhouse restaurant. This restaurant is more known for their seafood, and they have some incredible seafood on the menu. But even if you like seafood, come here, get the brisket ricotta tortelloni, and get this filet. Man. And my mom likes her steak more medium well or even medium, so this is a little bit more cooked than I would personally prefer. But honestly, they do such a good job of seasoning this meat and just selecting such a high quality piece of meat that even if it's more well done for my personal preference, which would be medium rare, I don't even miss out on the medium rare cook just because it is seriously that good. And the potatoes it comes with, that is the best meal at this restaurant. Either the surf and turf or just the filet. That is the best meal at this restaurant. I am absolutely stuffed. This risotto is coming home with me. That's gonna make some good leftovers. But what would you guys say if I told you we have not even gotten to the best part of the meal yet, the dessert? They have a new key lime dessert. They have a berry pavlova, a hazelnut chocolate bar, and I started from the bottom because the one that you have to order on this menu is at the top, the almond crusted cheesecake. And this is not only the best dessert at this restaurant, it goes beyond that. I think the almond crusted cheesecake here at Narcoossee'S is actually the best dessert on all of Disney World property. And I know I've said that about every course here. They have one of my favorite drinks on property in the key lime pie martini. They have my favorite appetizer on property, the shrimp and grits. They have my favorite entree on property, the surf and turf. And they also have my favorite dessert on property in this cheesecake here. I'm telling you, if you order one thing at this restaurant, as much as I love everything else that we tried, if you order one thing, it has to be this cheesecake here. It's unreal. Here it is, the almond crusted cheesecake. This has a Lambert cherry sauce and chantilly for $17. So this is quite the expensive dessert, but worth it. I just had this like 3 weeks ago. And I'm so excited to have it again. This dessert never lets me down. Matter of fact, this whole restaurant never lets me down. I have never had a bad experience here. Like truly, from the service to the food, all amazing. And it's always capped off on an amazing note. With this almond crusted cheesecake here, the flavor, literally, just like the steak, this just melts in your mouth somehow. It is the creamiest, dreamiest cheesecake you will ever have in your life. And it has so much almond flavor all throughout, and I love a dessert with a little bit of almond flavor there. You get the crunch from the almonds on the outside, and then the cherries, you gotta get a piece of the cherry with every bite. It just adds this tartness. It literally delivers on every single note that you need in a dish, in a dessert. I mean, this is not only beautiful, it seriously tastes absolutely delicious. This is like my favorite dessert, honestly, that I've ever had in my life. And this right here is why I always celebrate special occasions at my birthday at Narcoossee'S. Shiz, mother. I love me some bubbles. The sun is setting over the Seven Seas Lagoon. Honestly, the views just keep getting better with time. It's hard to leave this table, but we must. Well, it has been another truly fantastic meal over at Narcoossee'S. I always say this, but I feel like Narcoossee'S has just the best all-around overall dining experience. The service, always a 10 out of 10. The drinks, always amazing. The food, always amazing. The dessert, everything on that menu, it's like top to bottom. That menu is really, really solid, and that's why it's my favorite restaurant on property. And a lot of times the main concern with dining at Narcoossee'S is that it's a heavily seafood-based menu. But again, there are so many great meat options on that menu if you don't eat seafood. A lot of people get a little scared if they don't eat seafood. They're like, you go there if you want seafood. And that is just not the case. There's so many other amazing non-seafood items on that menu that you should definitely check out. And as you could probably tell from the prices, this is not a restaurant that I go to all the time. It's a restaurant that I kind of save for special occasions when I'm celebrating something like my birthday. This is exactly where I want to come. And I'm sad we missed the fireworks today. However, we still had such a great view from our table. I don't know. I just absolutely love that restaurant. I can never say enough good things about it. If you have not dined at Narcoossee'S, I highly recommend. I've dined at every restaurant on property, including Victoria and Albert's upstairs. And I know this is crazy to say, I enjoy Narcoossee'S more. Well, we are another birthday celebration down over at Narcoossee'S. I come here every year for my birthday and always just have such a good meal. Like I said, it's a restaurant in a world of inconsistent restaurants around Disney World. This is a restaurant that is always very consistent. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Also, massive shout out to everyone over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I appreciate all of you. If you enjoy honest Disney food reviews just like this one, I'm always gonna give them to you, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.